Taylor Swift Eras Tour. This is an interesting experience. And what I mean by that is, um, I mean the movie itself. You will watch this movie with a crowd, and it's not the movie that I think a lot of people expect it is. And I want to talk about it, and I didn't think I was going to want to review it or have enough to say about it in a review because this is a concert movie. It's not a movie, but there is actual filmmaking on display here that I want to talk about. And I have some thoughts about Taylor Swift and how people are reacting to this movie that I want to share that I think is an interesting perspective. So, I honestly have heard many Taylor Swift songs before. Who hasn't? She's an icon of this generation and will be for many, 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 many decades. But honestly, I had no idea that she had the power that she's had, whether that be politically, where she's come out and said back the blue, a bunch of people registered to vote. I'm not here to get into any of that, but I just want to say that's interesting, right? And there was a bunch of news stories about Taylor Swift recently that made me want to go see this movie. So I took my mom. We sat in the theater at a 7 o'clock showing in MPX. It looked great and sounded great. But what was interesting is I took my mom and we're sitting there, and she's like sitting here with me, and we're enjoying it. But she's just, I just sat and just sitting there, and I'm like, I know most of these songs. And I went home and I turned them on. I started listening to them. I'm like, I know these songs. I love these songs. And I'm like, I know this album. I know this. So all this time, I've been a Swiftie, didn't even know it, sort of thing. And I'm not even saying that that's a bad thing. It's like, oh, I just never realized that I'm into this type of music, I most of the music I listen to is like classic rock, things like that, a lot of 70s stuff. I listen to a lot of jazz. Oh, movie soundtracks, it's a lot of different stuff. I don't listen to just something. I listen to some 90s hip-hop and rap, things like that, right? As I'm looking at my Guns N' Roses, Jimi Hendrix, Tupac, Elvis, Snoop Dogg, and Ice Cube figures sitting on my desk, I guess you could say. So I'm just saying, my music taste isn't using this kind of stuff, but I am a Swiftie apparently, and it was fun. I had a great time. But I think what's interesting, and Taylor Swift, you watch this, you can just tell this is a person who has a lot of charisma. She's an excellent performer. She loves her fans truly. The way she performs, you can tell there's a love for her fan base, and there's a realness to her where you can just look at this woman and be like, this is genuinely a good person, and she's just an honest, real person. And that's something very interesting that not a sense that you get a lot of from a lot of artists like her. She's super talented. Her music is great, and yeah, this whole thing was so well directed. This whole film, because it is a film, it's well directed. It is so well put together, and the costume design for her show and the set designs and all of it, it's very elaborate, really well crafted and put together. It's just immaculate, this movie, and it's just really cool, and it's just a really well done sight to behold. I almost kind of want to watch it again. I'm not going to, but at least in the theater anyways. I'll probably, if they do like a Blu-ray or vinyl bundle, probably get that or something. But it's just a really interesting experience. If you've never seen a concert movie or you kind of like Taylor Swift and you're on the fence about it, go watch this. This is a really cool experience. Watch it with a crowd. But I do want to say that with a couple of caveats. So I was seeing people post on social media, and they were really upset of footage of people screaming and singing in the theater. Guys, shut the fuck up. This is a concert movie. You are here for that experience. It's a concert in the theater. And I know people were very upset about this and throwing a temper tantrum about it. But I think it's two things. I think Taylor Swift is such a big pop star that there are things in our society that just people, like, everybody loves, right? So that causes like this backlash to go back to it and be like, oh, actually, you're wrong. It's shit. Like, you get all these people just want to hate on it just for hating on it because it's the popular thing. And, like, that's for everything. But at the end of the day, that's why people want to hate on this. And then also, like, I can tell you, as someone who works at a theater, it's not nearly as bad as people are making out. There's people singing in the theater, whatever. Usually, the theaters that they're showing this movie in are larger auditoriums that aren't next to smaller auditoriums. So a lot of the sound isn't going to go straight into another theater like that, like some people would expect. And so yeah, I just think people are really weird about it. Like, they're like, how dare they do this? No, this is what you pay for if you go see this movie. So if this sounds horrible to you, do not go watch this. And I repeat, do not go watch that if that sounds horrible to you. I will say there is some rudeness in my personal theater where like, so I sit in the handicap row and I have these people right above me and they're just throwing popcorn in my wheelchair. I'm like, fuck you, don't do that. And then second, this family, I don't know, they were split into two groups. One of them bought tickets in the front row, and then one bought tickets up the stairs, and they were running back and forth. And like, bitch, just buy the front row. And the front row's never filled up. Buy the damn front row, sit in the front row, and stop it. But other than that, I thought it was a great experience. And honestly, if you're a Taylor Swift fan, you gotta go watch this. This is an experience. Everybody's gonna be talking about it. It's gonna be something you remember for years and years and years. It's just a great time. So yeah, that's my thought on this. I didn't think I was gonna actually have that much to say about it, but I did it, and I wanted to talk about it, so I did.